From what I see, my idea of coaching and my managers completely different.
You've got one reality in the field and another one in the office. After a while, the managers lose touch.
I'm new in sales, and I could use help figuring out what works best, what to do in tough situations, what's going to get me to that next level of selling.
A sales manager has to listen to corporate and support the company line, but for us, there's no incentive. I figure as long as what I'm doing works.
I've been working with the same salespeople for months or years, and they just don't seem to be getting any better.
I get salespeople in here all the time trying to sell me this or that. 90% of the time, they don't even care if it suits my needs.
We spend so much time on reports, quantifying goals, that salespeople don't get the coaching they need.
I never see my sales manager unless there's some kind of problem.
I have so many people, it's hard to figure out where to spend my time. There's 100 fires to put out, so it can be tough to stay in touch with everyone on my sales team. Creates problems.
I'd like to see management listen instead of dictate. I'm sure they've got their imperatives, but we're the ones who deal with the customers.
With so many people in the field and the sheer size of our product line, it's really difficult to filter the noise when I finally get a chance to coach.
Sometimes coaching, you know, can feel awkward. You feel like you're just fishing for the right thing to say.
Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but I want good coaching. I think most people like the idea of someone to confer with, someone with expertise.
If it helps me sell.
That's the goal, to get through, to coach everyone effectively.
Well, I think no. I told Susan that demo has hurt the account. But marketing, they're a world apart.
Well, it certainly wasn't intentional on their part. What was the problem with the demo?
The team showed up at a Henderson store unannounced, so I looked foolish. And there is no way that Henderson will ever stock that product.
You know, I probably have a role in this mix-up. Communication with the field has not been what I'd like. Why don't you and I trade some ideas?
I doubt that they're ignoring you. It's probably got more to do with lack of product knowledge. Right. Well, what if we change the approach for next time? Sure, no problem. See you then. Thanks for waiting.
Harry,
Right.
he's still pushing that online advertising?
Well, he's definitely focused. So what's up?
The mailer for CultureSoft got placed incorrectly, but I just talked to Kevin Walker in their marketing group. He's totally happy. So I'm wondering, do we let it slide?
I'd say there's a real risk to your long-term relationship. What's your thought?
I suppose it might come back to hurt us.
Well, before you make the call, why don't we think through what might happen in the conversation?
I feel like this should be much further along.
Well, I'm very pleased with your progress on this account. What makes you say that?
The research should be done by now.
Well, don't underestimate your progress. You've done excellent pre-call research, and quickly. So now you're ready for success at the next stage.
Yes, Harry? Uh-huh. I like that idea. I'd also like to invite Ellen. I know. Still, you know, she's got a ton of experience. True. She'll be clear about what the sales force needs and how that might affect your strategy.
Good thought. Make sure to really focus on the benefits, how we'll help them succeed. So, next step would be, well, what do you see as a realistic goal in this account?
Chris, I believe those are the monthly rates.
You mean I gave Minifield the wrong rates?
Sounds as if you did.
Oh, Jake is going to be furious. This is still his account for another month.
It's a simple mistake. I'm sure you can handle the conversation with Jake.
I should call Minifield right now. 'Cause 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 'cause
Why not talk to Jake first? Get his thoughts on breaking the news to the client.
That'll be a tough conversation with him.
Well, what else happened on your call? What can you tell Jake that you found out about their business?
Steve said what? He won't sell the new roofing system? Okay, let's not jump to conclusions. What's actually on the order? Well, why don't I talk to him?
You want to go out on a call with me? Is that my reward for complaining about marketing?
No, it's my reward. You know your territory so well. I'd like to see it through your eyes.
Okay.
I'm thinking I'd like to do this at Henderson. Curious where you see that account going.
So what'd you think of that meeting?
It went okay, but Harry has to fine-tune every detail.
That's the secret to his success. And what'd you think about the overall plan?
I suppose for the next couple months we could link the online to the print advertising.
Let's look at the bigger picture. What's the potential for the next year?
In what sense?
You think the integrated strategy could benefit your accounts?
You're angling every minute.
I can't help it. I'm looking forward to this change. Long term, it's an exciting direction.
Yeah, but print sales have always been good to me.
Me too. You know, you and I have a call scheduled with Global Flower Network next week. Should we talk about this more then?
Sure.
What I'm saying is we need to maximize our advertising budget.
I know your situation, Ed. I've browsed your website and had you deliver flowers for business and private occasions. I think the best value for you is our fall business section. Look at these samples. They're beautiful.
Ellen, I'm not making any decisions today. I need to look at my options.
Can I ask, what other options are you considering?
Well, part of the problem is the amount of ad space you're selling to Rapid Floral. But they're twice our size and probably have twice our ad budget.
I'm sure you know Rapid Floral always has a significant presence in our fall business section.
We're getting shouted down in the market. We can't get our message through.
So you're thinking of changing your approach with your ads?
A new approach, a new channel, lots of things.
Well, if your concerns are budget and regular visibility, how about a nice monthly placement?
We've done that. As you know, it doesn't have the impact we're looking for.
Well, if impact is your main concern, then the fall business section is the way to go. It's not so much the total space as where your ad appears and how clear your message is.
I need to talk to some people and get back to you.
Okay, just keep in mind, the fall deadline is the 31st. Hey, was that a new car I saw in your space? Yeah, but Ed's always like that. He strings it out, he complains, and you have to prod on the deadline.
I'm suggesting that if we explore what happened together, we can identify some opportunities.
Me? Come on, Linda.
Are you willing to think through the account with me, maybe consider another approach?
What do you have in mind?
Well, let's start here. How do you see their current business situation?
They're suffering, I know that. Rapid Floral is expanding in the north and the west.
What's been their response?
They're starting to cut prices to stay competitive. Which is affecting their staffing levels.
And that's affecting their advertising. How?
I haven't seen much change. Last season, I tried to point Ed towards some new venues, but believe me, I know this guy. I know his routine.
I'm sure you do. Sometimes, though, over time, and I've done this myself, with an old client, you make assumptions about their needs.
Are you saying I'm not listening to him?
Not at all. I'm saying that if his situation has changed, maybe his needs have changed. If you don't understand his current situation, you can't expect to expand the account. And the only way to find out is to ask him. What do you think?
Ed knows we reach his target market every month, 12 times a year.
So it's to his benefit to work with us.
Exactly.
I wonder if he sees it that way right now.
That's just his manner.
Well, you've known him for years. You think if we probed more around his current needs with rapid floral more of a threat, might help bring him around?
Couldn't hurt, I guess.
The goal, I think, is to help Ed see us as an ally. So let's think about how we can get closer to his needs.
Okay, but he's a bottom line guy, and we've done everything we can on price.
Right. Well, you know him better than anyone. So how would you start your probing?
I guess I could ask him what's changed, what he means by a new channel. Maybe we could help him focus on the upscale with a diversified approach.
A diversified solution sounds good. And you may get there with Ed. Let's not offer a solution before we understand his needs.
You're right. It's just that I know him so well.
So how can you make sure you don't jump to solutions too quickly?
Well, you said it. Probe more up front.
Good. What if you approached him more like a new client? You're excellent with new clients. Maybe you can get him talking. Ask him about issues that are important to him.
Like what?
Ask about his customers these days, or changes he sees coming. Confirm his needs. Then you can present a solution with features and benefits that resonate with him. No more assumptions.
So what? Sort of a fresh start?
It's a good way to look at it. So, if you're going to take that approach, how would you get started?
Do some research, I guess. Give him a call. Say I'm looking into companies like his facing low-price competition.
I like that. And then?
Probe a little more than usual.
And listen.
Of course. Make sure I have a picture of his needs before offering solutions.
A picture like that could reveal opportunities you don't even know about. Is this making sense?
Yes. Oh, listen, I have a call in an hour.
Right. Thank you so much for your time today. By the way, we've got sources for that research you mentioned. I'll email you some links. And if there's anything else you need, don't hesitate to call.
So, what is the big occasion bringing the boss along this time?
Oh, I thought you and I could go over your recent orders, and I brought John along for your annual account review. So, I see that you're opening 4 more stores.
That's right.
Well, congratulations. I also see that you're planning to stock the same range of products down there.
Exactly the same, including the roofing. You know, your marketing people have been burying me with information on this new roofing line. I'm perfectly happy with the system we have.
Why tinker with success, right?
You got it.
All right, well, let's get back to the orders for next quarter. Well, that about wraps it up for the orders.
Carl, before we leave this topic, I'd like to hear more about your experience with the current roofing system.
Well, most of our customers are small contractors. If they're happy with the roofing, which they are, we're happy with it too.
What do you think makes them happy about it?
Carl, we're not trying to push anything. I'll make sure you get exactly what you want in the quantities you need.
Good. You know, Steve and I have been working together for years. But if you guys want to change the rules, I'm sure other suppliers will be more than happy to get me straight up roofing, wall boards, bags of concrete.
Are you trying to destroy this account?
I'm trying to help you grow it, Steve, long term.
Their customers love the current roofing. They're going to be furious when we phase it out.
Well, this is the time to prepare for that day.
You heard him. He is happy with what he's got.
Steve, I'd like us both to give this some thought. And we'll talk later.
All right, I'll see you in the morning.
Thanks for stopping by, Steve. I'd like to take a few minutes talking about yesterday. Got some real opportunities with the Henderson account.
I know about the opportunities with Henderson. New roofing isn't one of them.
Well, let's talk about that. How do you think the call went yesterday?
Is disaster too strong a word? I guess he's talking with other suppliers right now.
Where do you think the call went wrong?
When you refused to drop the roofing issue.
So, up to that point, you think things went well?
I do. You have to understand, Carl is happy with his current roofing. That's reality.
Well, I agree Carl's clearly indifferent to the new roofing system, and I see a reluctance on your part to address that indifference. As a result, long term, we're asking for trouble on the Henderson account. Would you agree?
Don't tell me about the long term. I've grown this account for 4 years.
Steve, you've done great work with the Henderson account. I'm just thinking of the research we did before we invested in the new roofing. Won't those market trends affect Henderson as well as us?
Eventually. But it's too soon to push product Carl doesn't think he needs.
Okay. Well, suppose we don't address Carl's indifference right away. What happens to the account when sales of the old product line start dropping off?
It could impact the relationship, but I'll be ready for it.
We know Carl talks to other suppliers, and they see the same trends we see. What if a competitor persuades Carl to stock new roofing before we do?
All right. All right. It could be an issue down the road.
I see risk in positioning something Carl doesn't think he needs. I see a far greater risk in failing to prepare Henderson for long-term success. What's your thought?
I don't see how you tell a customer he doesn't understand his own best interests.
Well, what would you do if Carl said he was happy with a competitor's product?
Yeah. I guess it's the same type of challenge.
So do we agree that to protect Henderson from their competition and to protect us from ours, it makes sense to address Carl's indifference as soon as feasible?
All right. I'll go with that.
Good. Well, then let's figure out a way to do that without risking the relationship you've built for so long.
That's critical.
Oh, I just met Carl. How would you proceed with him?
He's got this eye condition, Carl does. He only sees numbers.
Well, which ones do we show him?
Maybe we send him the market data that we looked at, that led to the new roofing.
I like that. Well, what about the actual conversation? How do we help him see the value of the new roofing system?
I don't know. Scare him?
How about educate him? Polish up your selling skills, acknowledge his concerns without rushing past them, and prepare some thoughtful questions. Help him see how this new roofing can make him even more successful with his customers. Make sense?
It does.
Well, what have you done to get familiar with the new system?
Well, I thought I'd worry about that later, but now maybe I should sign up for one of those web sessions.
Good thought. There's one this Thursday at 10. After, we could get together and think through your next call with Carl. How's that sound?
Sounds fine.
Do you really agree this all makes sense?
I do. It's just, you know, it's not going to be easy.
I know. Well, you're a professional, which is why Carl has such faith in you. Well, thanks for talking this through. Let's touch base on Monday. I want to help you succeed any way I can. Sounds as if the meeting went very well. I'm impressed.
Thanks.
Since we talked last, I have been thinking about how to leverage your strengths and build in new areas. Do you have any ideas?
I'd like to stay on the commercial end.
Oh, why is that?
I worked with Emma Jackson, remember?
I do remember. That went well.
So I was thinking, her new project seems like a good one for me to take on.
You'd be great with the technical lighting issues. That's a 10-story building, though, and the account involves the customer needs in a range of areas.
That's true.
So I was thinking of an opportunity in residential. Susan in marketing has been talking to a developer in South County, Jeff Hidalgo. He runs a small firm, but it's growing, like that whole area.
Residential.
How do you feel about that?
I understand my expertise only fits one part of the Jackson project. I don't know as much about wall systems, flooring, but I don't know residential either. So I guess I don't get the logic.
Let's think about it. Fred's been working downtown for, I'm thinking, 15 years. Hidalgo is a great chance for you to promote the whole product line and work with technical support in new areas.
So you want me to, what, start small?
It won't stay small long. South County is hot. That means more builders, retail. So what do you think?
I see what you mean.
So are you willing to take this on?
Yes.
I'm glad. Long term, this will help you work with more and more complex accounts.
I can see that.
So why don't we put together a plan? What initial ideas do you have?
Study the product specs, of course.
Good. One thought. Your focus with him is not so much the technical details.
Right. I'm representing the whole product line.
So what do you do if Hidalgo asks you a technical question you can't answer?
Well, I guess I could tell him about... So what do I do?
Well, you might say, hey, Mike in tech support has 10 years experience in this area. Build a sense you have access. How's all this working for you?
It's making sense.
Good. Also, I'm happy to help you with a call strategy before you meet with Hidalgo, maybe rehearse. If you like, I'll go with you on the initial call. So, what do you think?
I think the first call, I'd like to be on my own. Establish the relationship. I feel I'm ready for that.
Oh, I do too. Maybe later I can tag along as a part of your team.
Okay.
Great. What else have we agreed on here?
Well, the research. Then you and I come up with a call strategy. That's just an idea sheet, right?
Right. Can you draft something up and then we'll go over it Thursday?
Sure. And we can rehearse to see how I come across.
Good. In the meantime, I can get any other information you need, answer any questions.
Thanks.
This is a great opportunity for you, Marianne. I'm glad you're the one taking this on.
Hey, Ellen. I got your message. This is outstanding news.
Ed and I just spent 3 hours talking about their marketing strategy.
Sounds like he responded well to exploring his needs.
From the ground up.
Well, I just want to say I really appreciate how you've applied what we decided on after we called on Ed last week. The research, getting back to him, probing about his needs, and then looking at solutions.
He's not totally sold, but once he got talking, I couldn't stop him. I think I planted the seeds when you and I were there.
You did. And now you've got people excited. Laura in Creative is thrilled with Ed's inserts, this new face on their image. I'm surprised he went for that.
Truth be told, that was his idea.
Even better. And the online ads, if they work out.
He's wavering. He wants to try a few spots? Maybe.
Well, it's a beautiful start. Or a brand new start for you and Global Flower Network.
Thanks.
Thanks to you. Zeroing in on his needs like this makes a huge difference. To me, to the client, and to our business.
Well, Ed hasn't finalized yet.
I've got a feeling he will.
I do too. Listen, I have a question about the August issue, the Lee account. I was thinking...
Hey, Linda, it's Dan Sells in the Midtown office. I just had an interesting joint call with Chris, your new hire up here. He's supposed to take over the Douglas account for me, but he was totally unprepared for the call. I'd say the client now has zero confidence in Chris. If you want the details, give me a call at 5673.
So you had to do everything. I understand. Did you brief him on the account? Uh-huh. So not even the most basic information. Uh-huh. Well, I appreciate your letting me know. I'll leave him a voicemail and I'll follow up. Right. I will. Thanks again, Dan. Hi, Chris. It's Linda. I just spoke to Dan about that Douglas call. I wanted to get your thoughts on how it went and offer support. I'm in the office today, so please give me a call back. Yes, I've been looking into it. I'll send you an email documenting all the... This afternoon, okay? Hi, Chris. Thanks for getting back to me so quickly.
Listen, Linda, I can explain this whole fiasco.
Things like this can happen in a new role. I'd just like to understand your perspective and work on next steps.
Okay.
How do you think your joint call went at Douglas?
Well, the client now thinks I'm an idiot.
Why do you say that?
Every time I open my mouth, Dan jumped in to correct me.
And you don't think he was justified?
No, not when it came to online advertising, which is where Douglas wants to go.
Well, you certainly know those services. How about when the conversation moved to other areas?
I was not playing with the full deck when I walked in that door.
Well, how do you mean? Dan said he briefed you on the account.
Brief is right. He gave me 5 minutes.
Okay, so you were missing some basic information about the client.
Really basic. He didn't even tell me they changed their brand name 2 months ago.
And that came out in the call?
Pretty embarrassing.
Oh, I've seen worse. Believe me, I've probably done worse.
I'm still supposed to take over the account on the 1st.
Well, before we decide how to recover with Douglas, let's think about how we got into this situation.
Okay.
I see a simple lack of pre-call planning. I'm not laying blame. I am asking you to take some responsibility for what happened. Can you see my point?
It's not my account.
It will be on the 1st. For any joint call, there's joint responsibility to prepare. Would you agree?
I guess so.
So we agree that pre-call planning is a must.
I guess I could have, well, done a little more digging into Douglas.
All right. So let's figure out how to recover with the client and how to prevent a similar situation in the future.
Okay.
So who did you talk to at Douglas?
Stacy Brand. She's in marketing communications.
She knows you're new to the company, right?
Yeah, for sure.
How do you see proceeding with Stacy to gain some credibility and ease the transition on the 1st?
Well, give her a call, I guess. Probably right away, maybe tomorrow.
And say?
Apologize. I mean, see if she'll give me another appointment.
Well, I like the appointment part. Instead of an apology, though, why not offer her something of value?
Like what?
Well, before you call, do your homework on Douglas. Their website, of course, but some deeper research as well. Read up on their industry issues and trends. Find out how Douglas is doing these days. Anything that would indicate why they changed their brand name. That's a serious step.
That seems a little late for research.
It's never too late to learn more about a client. Then give Stacy a call. Your objective is simple. Get her to agree to a solo appointment with you.
And I do that by?
By probing around the issues you identified. At a minimum, find out why they're looking at online advertising. That would allow you to show your expertise and earn the right to more of her time. What do you think?
I do know a little bit about their strategy. Dan does know how to ask questions.
So, you've already got a few more cards in your deck and a running start on your call to Stacy.
Right.
So, what have we agreed on for Douglas and all future calls?
Well, like you said, do your homework up front on the client and the client's industry.
Chris, I'm glad we've been able to connect. I know it's tough with you in Midtown and me down here. You know I'm available to help. Just call.
I will.
And I will send you an email shortly to summarize what we discussed.
And thanks for your time, Linda. I know you're busy.